A leasing circumstance, it was all the more a buying circumstance, it should be a buys circumstance, and afterward it due to her outright state and individuals that were educating her that we're caring with respect to fighting now vibrational individuals that is attempting to those land on the circumstance. However, all of us, my whole family, we ascend into the event. Can't say the news regarding Wendy Williams was absolutely startling, yet it actually shocked us. As per reports, the previous television show facilitated radio character won't be paying a fragrance in provision to her faithless ex Kevin Tracker any longer. That is correct. Late court records got solely by the U.S. Sun have uncovered that another Jersey judge has excused Tracker's appeal for the previous moderator to proceed with her regularly scheduled installments of $250,000. Tracker had made this case in light of his failure to make opportune bill installments after his provision installments halted. From what Tracker said, the reviews had been suspended in February last year due to certain issues Wendy was managing at that point, yet presently his most dreaded fear might have quite recently happened. Question currently is the way will the jobless miscreant adapt? How about we make a plunge? The individual who has made shame and disgrace men could be, as a matter of fact, Kevin Tracker. The previous maker of the Wendy Williams show has been openly communicating his monetary battles and reliance on Wendy's help regardless of leaving her when she wanted him the most anyway. As is commonly said, what circumvents comes around. I have fallen behind on the vast majority of my bills. I as of now live locally, that expects installments to mortgage holders' affiliations, and I'm behind on that charge. His record peruses. Tracker H50 claims that the end of installments from his previous companion meaningfully affects his life. He further expresses that he is encountering delays and taking care of his MasterCard bills and collision protection charges. The way that I can't support my life and cover my bills altogether is very developing to me. He regrets the appointed authority seemed to hold a particular perspective while choosing to excuse Tracker's request for help during his emergency. His fresh insight about Wendy's victory spread. Various well-wishers urged Tracker to look for work as opposed to depending on his ex-house's pay. Did this lady run before the world? She experienced outrageous medical problems in the wake of declaring that separate from SMH. Go find a new line of work seems like something not Wendy's concern. #find a new line of work. In spite of the fact that Wendy's monetary circumstance might have worked on because of the decision, Tracker actually has the choice to seek after intervention to arrive at a commonly okay repayment with his previous companion. The adjudicator has guided Wendy and Tracker to participate in restricting discretion, which is a type of compromise as revealed by the U.S. Sun in the wake of being blamed for unfaithfulness and remorselessness when he petitioned for legal separation from her better half of 21 years in 2019. Later cases uncovered that Tracker had a kid with his drawn-out courtesan Sharina Hudson, who isn't Wendy, this Woodlands Barbie. You realize he was deceiving up cash. She's in the front seat of my Rolls-Royce Ferrari, and you realize I mean extremely. On a fragment called Hotly Debated issue on her generally welcome daytime syndicated program The Wendy Williams Show, the 58-year-old host expounded on why she decided not to examine her separation. Addressing the crowd, she said everyone has things in their day-to-day existence, however they're not prepared to impart to the world. Kevin Tracker Jr., who is 22 years of age, is the lone offspring of Wendy and Tracker. The child reports that the adjudicator viewed Tracker's solicitation for divorce settlement as not critical and excused it without bias. Moreover, the adjudicator decided that Wendy wouldn't be considered responsible for Tracker's legitimate costs. Regardless of this, the issue isn't completely settled, and subsequently Tracker stays in a monetarily weak position. It's like hopping from the skillet into the fire. Tracker started this claim in November after the installments were out of the blue stopped in February 2022. Wendy's Wells Fargo account was likewise frozen around a similar time because of doubts of monetary double-dealing, dementia, or unjustifiable impact. According to the documented request, reports as of late surfaced of her 22-year-old child being removed from his $2 million condo in Miami after he neglected to pay $70,000 in lease. Here's all the data we have on that situation, so you realize apparently Wendy's frozen ledger and affects something other than her ex. As per reports, Wendy's child Kevin Tracker Jr. was sued for $70,000 in neglected lease and thusly removed from his upscale condo during a similar bank freeze. Tracker Jr. got the ousting notice in August of last year and guaranteed at the time that his mom had paid an entire year's lease ahead of time beginning in Walk 2021, fully intent on buying the loft toward the finish of the lease. The 22-year-old expressed that he had marked the rent for her sake in her solicitation. A young fellow then proceeded to detail what his mom's medical conditions had meant for his capacity to pay the lease as the rent moved toward the end. My mother went through some medical problems that put the court in charge of her funds. He expressed all of this happened unexpectedly and all of the monetary help that she generally gave me quit remembering my lodging for a letter to the court in February 2022 when he expressed that her bank Wells Fargo had denied her admittance to her monetary records, resources and proclamations both on the web and disconnected for previous monetary guide. Lori Schiller had purportedly prompted her that the radio character was a shaky psyche. As per her filings, the bank's court reports demonstrated that the assets were frozen because of the doubt that Wendy was the survivor of unjustifiable impact and monetary double dealing. The records anyway didn't determine who or what was taking advantage of or affecting Wendy inappropriately. It appears to be that the bank's activities kept Wendy from falling into the grip of her gold-digging ex who was looking to harvest where he had not planted. Tracker Jr. said while making sense of his absence of covering bills and introducing his dad as foolish, needed to stop my schooling for a full scholastic year in view of desire into care for my mother despite the fact that my name is on the rent my mother was paying, and for clinical and lawful reasons she has not had the option to pay the lease for as far back as months since the 1-year rent finished, and the court has controlled her funds in an articulation documented on August 29. Tracker asserted that he had been venturing out between states to keep an eye on his mom's prosperity while his dad partook in a covert relationship for a considerable length of time. He likewise referenced that he had tracked down an alternate and permanent spot to reside and want to leave the loft in the span of 7 days. Since the appointed authority has decided that Wendy owes him nothing, Tracker Sr. should either get a new line of work or manage his monetary battles all alone. When Wendy settled on the choice to end her long-running show, Tracker unequivocally went against it, realizing that he relied upon her monetary help. The Wendy Show, which had been a cross-country partnership for quite some time, broadcasted its Keep Going episode on June 17, 2022. Without Wendy's association, she had recently left from the show in 2021 because of well-being concerns. Tracker then again took on the creation organization behind the syndicated program when he understood it was in peril. It is the initial time throughout the entire existence of television shows for this to be done, particularly for a show that has been on for over 10 years. He reviewed Tracker, who was a co-maker and had seen the show's ascent to popularity over the course of the past 10 years, saw its discouraging decision without the genuine host, denoting a steep tumble from favor. As per him, I realize the hard labor that went into making the show such a triumph, and I'm not content with the manner in which the show is going out on an individual level, and I'm genuinely grieved that the show's fans need to see it go down the way that it is. Tracker guaranteed in Walk 2022. Wendy's ex sued Deborah Mercury for unfair and asserting the creation organization showed an absence of impressive skill. In the meantime, and in the manner in which they are allowing Wendy to pursue 13 years, the show has been made of joke the last 2 seasons, and the reasons the show is having its less than ideal destruction will come out very soon. Tracker mourned it was uncovered that his needs were egotistical and not zeroed in on the prosperity of others. Besides, Wendy's previous spouse scrutinized the organization for not offering sufficient help regarding well-being and for not maintaining the benefit of something they had made and given broad and depleting endeavors to, even to the detriment of their own relationship. He added, the manner in which Deborah fastidiously elaborate themselves in my own life, their need to separate and vanquish so they could approach Wendy, and the practices they carried on inside, the manner in which they included themselves in with me and my ex is miserable. From that point forward, Tracker has been battling energetically to protect a fair piece of Wendy's cash, determined to help his new youngster and sweetheart Sharina, yet at this point that